Here's Frankie Corrado, and the Habs off to a great start. First lead of the playoffs, and then they quickly hand that back to the Washington Capitals in about 4 minutes. How can Montreal improve on just protecting their lead, Frank?
They can't make the errors once they have the lead. Like, that goes without saying. But this is an area where they're not particularly comfortable. Like, this is just not something that they do often. They don't get ahead in games, and they don't play a style of game where it's really conducive to locking it down for a long period of time. That's just not their MO. Their MO has been, like, let's scratch and claw, and no matter what, if the game is within striking distance, we will have a chance to work our way back into it. And that was the case for tonight as well. Like, they had a chance to win this game. Of course, like Logan Thompson made some big saves, but, if it's something that you're not necessarily accustomed to doing in the regular season, it's hard to flip that switch come playoff time, and that's part of the challenge right now for the Montreal Canadiens. At some point again in this series, they will hope to get a lead, and when they do, you almost have to just say, like, we're not changing anything that we do right now. We just have to play with the same urgency, that same kind of like go and get it attitude that we play with when we're down a goal. We just have to do that when we're up a goal.
And you're playing a goalie like Logan Thompson, who, arguably one of the best in the league this season. You need to generate more offense. You'd love it to come from Patrik Laine. He didn't even play a shift in the third period. How do you get this guy going?
That's the question that Marty St. Louis is going to be asking himself. He's going to be asking his assistant coaches. And a lot of coaches would have asked this question already for Patrik Laine, because this is not something that's new for him, but this was the right call by Marty St. Louis, not playing him in the third period. He wasn't contributing nearly enough to this group. Like, they need him to give you something on the power play, and if you can get something at 5-on-5, that's great. That's bonus, stuff for Patrik Laine. But this was nowhere near the type of effort with and without the puck. A lot of turnovers feeding into the transition game for the Washington Capitals, and it got to the point where you couldn't put him out there anymore. So much so that you're down a goal, you're pressing, and you've got the goaltender pulled, and you don't have him on the ice. Yeah. And I think it's the right call, because Marty St. Louis has done way too good of a job of establishing a certain standard and a certain culture there within the group to say that, I'm so desperate, no matter how poorly you played, you're going back on the ice. It's not the case. So he'll regroup. He'll get another chance in Game 3, and he has to prove to his teammates, his coach, and himself that he can find a way to contribute in this series.
So other than getting Laine going, feeding off that incredible Bell Center crowd, which they will in Game 3, obviously, what else can Montreal do to cut into this series?
Man, just play like it's the third period.
Yeah.
Play like it's the third period, and you're down a goal, and you're pressing. Because when you have that type of urgency, that leads to the high-quality scoring chances that you got in this game. And listen, Logan Thompson was unbelievable. And yes, he gets a little bit of help from the post along the way. He makes some big saves. This one on Josh Anderson was huge. But like when Montreal really felt like they were pressing, Jay, they were winning all the puck races.
Yeah.
They were coming up with all these pucks. And, Marty St. Louis had to shorten the bench in order to do that. And everyone gets taxed a little bit more. And Washington, they stuck to their game plan as far as, we're going to play physical, we're going to try and run you out of the building. But, that doesn't necessarily deter Montreal. Like, they found a way to push. They found a way to win their shift. They tilted the ice. It's just they have to have that same kind of urgency and mentality for, we've talked about this. You're never going to have it for a full 60.
Yeah.
But you have to have it for more than half the game in order to give yourself a chance to, get the lead, keep the lead, and play with that same urgency throughout the rest of the night.
Montreal battling history, too. They're 5-19 all time when trailing 2-0 in a playoff series.